Oh yeah, green screen and stuff, highlight video. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Well, all right, look, so I've been gone for a long while. It's been what? Almost a year, I think. And so I basically just kind of wanted to get on here and make a quick video to kind of, I don't know, just get back into making some videos and talking about stuff, and then kind of just talking about what I've been doing and what the plan is for the channel, and what I'm going to continue to talk about, kind of just what's been going on. So I don't really plan on having this be very long, but I did want to just kind of talk about some of the stuff that's been happening, and kind of what do I see the channel going in the future. Oh, I got somebody. What up, though? What up, though? I appreciate you being in. I don't think I'm familiar with seeing you, so maybe you're new. But yeah, I appreciate it. Talking about the T-bait. So let me first talk about that. I'll talk about that first with the T-bait stuff. So let me see. My last video that I made for T-bait was it looks like it was chapter 486. This was the last chapter I had to, yeah, that was the last one I did. So I have not continued to read the story. So when I last did chapter 486, that was the last thing I read about T-bait. I haven't followed it. I haven't been updated. I know nothing about what happened after that chapter. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. As far as the future and talking about more T-bait, I do want to do more of that. I do want to do more like read through with the chapters and kind of get, my live, reaction to, the chapter that comes out, or the chapters that I missed. I kind of go through it and read it, and I kind of just set my own pace for, how fast I'm gonna catch up and things like that. And so I do plan on still doing that. That's still my plan. But in the meantime, what I've been doing and kind of what I want to do going forward is I kind of just been reading a lot of different shit, to be completely honest. I've been reading because I'm a truck driver, in case you guys don't even know yet, right? But I'm on the road constantly all the time. I'm driving, 10, 11 hours a day. And so I'm always listening to audiobooks, and I'm always listening to something, whether it be YouTube videos or, audiobooks and things like that. So I'm constantly listening to stuff. So I've been listening to a lot of shit, a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of stuff. And so I got a lot of opinions about a lot of the stuff that I done read. I done read a lot of trash stories to where I read maybe one book and then I just drop it because it's just terrible. And then there's been some stuff that I've read like 4, 5, 6 books and caught up, and I'm waiting for the author to write new ones, right? So I've been reading a lot of stuff. So what I want to do is I want to just kind of talk about some of the stuff that I've already read, So I want to talk about some of the stuff that I already read and just give my opinions on it. And then also too, I kind of want to get some of the people who might just want to still hear my opinions about certain stories. Yeah, I can just kind of leave some recommendations on what stuff I should read. But I'm telling you, I've read a lot of shit. I've read, and I kind of want to talk about a little bit of what I've already read so far. So I'm not trying to make this video be too long, but I do want to talk about some of the stuff I've already read, just so that way, if there was something like, oh, I want to know what you think about this video or this book or whatever, maybe I already read it, and maybe I got a lot of different opinions about it. But I don't know. I've been having a hard time remembering everything that I've read. So like, I really gonna have to just kind of refresh what I've listened to kind of have a actual opinion on it, because you get confused after like so many different names, so many different characters. I mean, it's so many different names, so many different characters I didn't forgotten. Like honestly, like even T-bait, right? Talking about T-bait, I've forgotten so many of those characters' names, bro. Like I know Arthur, right? I know Arthur. I know Gideon. Shoot, what's his girlfriend's name? I can't even think of her name. It's been so long. But like Sylvia's her mom, and then I know about Kez's, I know about, Agrona, but like everybody else I don't even know. I forgot all their names and everything because it's been so long since I didn't read the story, and I've read thousands and thousands of chapters of different stuff. So it's been a lot. So it's hard to kind of keep track of all the names and stuff. But what is that? Dream King. What up, though, Dream King? What's up, Gibson? What up, though? But listen. So I've been reading a lot of different stuff, and it's a lot of things to kind of get through. It's kind of what I'm saying. It's a lot of things to kind of get through. But I kind of want to talk about some of the stuff I've already read, and maybe you guys can tell me if you read it already, and you think that it's something I should review or something like that. Good. Damn. Like, why you spamming? What's up, Aiden? What up, though? But anyway, so I kind of want to talk about some of the books that I've already read or already started reading. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what I'm currently reading right now. How many chapters am I? So I said this earlier. So the last video I made on T-Bait, that was the last chapter I read. I have not continued to read the story. So 486 was the last video I made talking about T-Bait. So that's where I'm at, 486. I haven't read any further than that. And honestly, I need to do a refresher because I didn't forgotten about a lot of stuff that didn't happen from all the other books that I've read. So anyway, so the book that I'm reading the series that I'm reading right now is what is it called? Shit, I can't even think of the name. I got it pulled up for a second. Hold on.
This is Wonderful.
Let me go to the shit. Okay, so Dungeon Crawler Carl is what I've been reading. I've been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and the shit has been hilarious. Right now I'm on book. So I just finished book 5. I just finished book 5. So I still got book 6 and book 7 to go through. And yeah, so that shit's been hilarious. I've been loving that series. And so I still got 2 more books to go on that. So I want to talk about that in future videos. So that's cool. If y'all not familiar with it, but yeah, it's Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt. What is it? By Matt Dinniman. Yeah, and it's narrated by Jeff Hayes. Jeff Hayes does a phenomenal job with the narration, man. Jeff Hayes is phenomenal narrator. Kind of like Travis Baldry, who does the narration for T-Bait. Travis is also excellent, but it's some narrators out there that are pretty trash, pretty bad. I didn't came across, but I can make a whole video about that too, about how narrators are just bad when it comes to emphasizing what the character is trying to say, and if they're like passionate about what they're saying, and they just kind of say things in like monotone voices and stuff like that. So yeah, I can make a whole video about that. But I've been reading that, and Defiance of the Fall. I've been following Defiance of the Fall for a while now. So or the First Defier. Yeah, the First Defier. Yeah, so Defiance of the Fall, I caught up to that complete story. I followed the Patreon. I caught up to the entire story, and I was listening to the audiobooks too. So that's another story that I've been reading over the past few months that I've caught up to. I haven't made any videos about Primal Hunter, but Primal Hunter I've also been reading and listening to audiobooks for that. With Jake, I've been following that. So like, if I were to say like my top 3 stories that I've been kind of following and I've been enjoying the most, it would be Defiance of the Fall, the Primal Hunter, and then T-Bait. But like I said, I haven't caught up with T-Bait because I knew eventually I wanted to make videos about it. As far as Primal Hunter and Defiance of the Fall, I haven't made any videos about that, so I'm not really sure about how I want to kind of incorporate talking about that story into the channel and stuff. But that's another story I've been reading. But another story I started reading, but then I stopped, was another lit RPG. Was Pit Fighter. Yeah, Pit Fighter by Plum Parrot. I started reading that story. I didn't really like where that was going. So I ended up reading, what did I end up reading? I ended up reading like book 1, book 2, and then I think I dropped it after book 2. So I never even, I think I maybe started book 3 a little bit, but then I dropped it after that. So that's another story that I started reading, but then I didn't. Victor of Tucson or whatever, that's what the series name is. But yeah, so that's another story I've been reading. Another story that I actually really liked, and I haven't, and I read all the books, and I'm just waiting for the author to make more another book, I guess, like the 7th book, I believe. Yeah, I think it's the 7th book. I'm waiting for the 7th book. Let me see if I can find it. Is King's Dark Tidings. Tell me if y'all heard of this. King's Dark Tidings by Kel Cade. I've been reading King's Dark Tidings, and that book has been great. I've been really enjoying that. I read all 6 books, and I'm just waiting for the 7th book to come out. So that's another story that I really liked. And I kind of want to start doing like mini reviews. So like if I can remember everything, I want to do like a mini review to where it's like a 5-minute video or like a 3-minute video, something short, that I'm just kind of just doing an overall review of the story and what I think about it, and kind of just doing that first, and then maybe later on doing like a more in-depth version of a review and like talking about the things that I liked and I didn't like. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of, kind of thinking that I'm gonna do something like that, just do like a short review, because I've read so much stuff that I'm just like, I'm not gonna really do an in-depth review of the whole book, because I don't remember everything that happened in the story. But I can probably remember like a couple things, and then just do like a short like mini review, and just to kind of get my opinions out there, and maybe if it gets enough likes or something like that, then I can do like a more in-depth review of the story. But that's another series that I've been reading so far. What else? Here's another story that I started reading. It is A Testament of Steel. I don't know, a lot of this stuff be kind of like lit RPG types. Oh, well, it's all fantasy, but a lot of stuff be like kind of lit RPG types. But it's A Testament of Steel by Davis Ashura. And so that's another story I started to really like. I read the first book, I read the second book, I read the third book, and then I dropped it. And so the only one that's left is the 4th book. I just didn't read the 4th book. And I remember some of this because this is like more recent when I started reading this. So if you ever read A Testament of Steel, I guess the series name is Instrument of Omens. So Instrument of Omens by David Ashura, or yeah, Ashura, or whatever you want to call it. The amnesia and forgetting their lives and what happened, and like that shit got old, because the beginning of the story, the main character doesn't remember what happened to him. He's like woke up in a new body, and he doesn't know his past. He doesn't know anything about what happened to him. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So man, maybe slowly he'll figure it out and learn what what his history is. And then he finally just slowly learns and figures it out. And I'm just like, okay, cool. He finally knows his history. He's developed. He knows what he's passionate about. And then he also got the love interest, and like, because they're like reincarnated or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. But then they lose their memories after they just get their, like, they literally, the whole story was like, oh, he's got to get his memories back. He gets his memories back. Yay, he got his memory back. And then they lose their memories again. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, how you gonna lose the memories after you just got the memories back? And we only been reading for a few chapters, and then now y'all about to lose the memories again. And then now y'all don't like each other because somebody didn't fuck with y'all memories. And even though we watched y'all kind of like start to fall in love with each other or whatever, and then y'all get y'all memories back, and y'all were like, oh yeah, I love you, oh yeah, you're my dream girl, blah blah, and then they lose their memories, and then now they don't like each other again. I'm just like, this shit got so old, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not even about to read book 4. I was done. It was over. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. And I kind of raged for a little bit because I remember this, and I was so frustrated by it because I'm just like, y'all just got your memories back, and then now y'all gotta sacrifice y'all memories again for the greater good to try to help save the world. And I'm just like, shit's trash. Just ugh. So that's another story. Instrument of Omens. It was solid. It was solid. And then it got trash. And that's all I gotta say. So that's another story. And I don't just listen to the lit RPG stuff. I've been kind of going into like some of the romance stuff. Like maybe there might be a romance that I was like, oh, okay, I kind of dig that. You know, they wasn't, where the characters don't feel like they were just kind of forced to be together. Like they just fucking forced them to be together and they don't seem natural. Maybe I can find something that seems like more natural to where they develop some sort of chemistry and it's like more believable, right? Even though it's fantasy, it can still be some believable fantasy. So I started reading, there's another book that is on Audible. It's called The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. It got a lot of reviews, it got a lot of ratings, and I'm just like, okay, let me check this out. It started off interesting. I will say that. It started off interesting. Yeah. And it's called the Bridge Kingdom series, right? So it started off interesting. It'd be cool too if I could like I could put like a photo on a video, right? But I don't have my laptop connected to it, so a lot of stuff I just do off my phone. But it started off interesting, right? The Bridge Kingdom, it started off interesting, where you got this like prince or king. I'm trying to remember this shit. I can't give you names because I don't remember the names of these characters. But you got the prince and the king, and then you got this other king from this other side of the country, and he's got like 11 daughters or 9 daughters or whatever, and they've been trained as a kid to be like assassins and all this other shit, right? And I'm just like, okay, cool. So he trained his daughters to be assassins and everything. They're all like beautiful and stuff. They all got some of the things they're really, really good at, and other things that they're not so good at, right? Compared to the other sisters or whatever. And then they throw in a twist where it's just like, okay, well, I don't know if is it 9 sisters? It's like 9 sisters or something like that, right? Laura is the main sister in the story. Anyway, so she got like 9 sisters and some shit like that. They were all trained as assassins. And then their dad, which is the king, he just like, well, you all got to compete against one another, and whoever wins is going to be the one who's going to be married off to this other king. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. You know, they got to fight each other and how they're going to deal with that or whatever. And it started off okay. And then the main male character, he kind of became a simp like way too quickly for me. And their whole progression and just like the amount of trust that he gave a stranger is just it was just way too unbelievable. Like, this guy's like the king, he's got a sister, he's got so many people relying on him, and they already speculated like, listen, they got betrothed and they're going to be married, and they're just like, listen, this girl could be a secret assassin, you know, like you're getting married off to this chick by the king whatever, so he can create this sort of relationship, right? And he just trusted her way too quickly. And I mean, I just ended up dropping it at the first book, so I don't really have too much more to say about that. But I tried to give it a chance because they had really good reviews and it was a romance, and I'm just like, okay, maybe there could be a romance, because I'm not against the romance shit, right? Like, I actually enjoy, for the most part, book 2 was way better than book 1. But I actually enjoyed what is it called? Thorns and Roses, whatever the hell, by Sarah J. Maas or whatever. Court Court of Thorns. I actually kind of liked that series. The first book was not so great, but the second book I really liked, and then the third book I was listening to, I was like, okay. And then the fourth book, I'm just like, this shit's kind of trash. So that series is kind of like up and down. So I'm just like, maybe I can find something that's more enjoyable that kind of got some romance in it or whatever, right? So that's why I gave the whole Kingdom series, or not Kingdom, but the Bridge Kingdom series a shot, and it didn't really work out. Another series that I actually started to read, and I ended up falling off on this series. It's called what the hell? What would you call it? It is the Arise series. Let me know if y'all heard of this one. So this one is the Arise series by Jez Kagio, something like that. I thought that the narration was good. I thought they did a good job with both of the narrators, Christopher Boucher or something like that, and then Jessica Three or whatever. I thought it was interesting. I thought the power system was dope. I thought that Lebo, I remember you, Lebo. What up, though? What up, Lebo? Sheesh. It's been a minute, right? But so anyway, the Arise series, right? So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool. I thought the power system was dope. He got the nanoids or whatever in the system, and he got the upgrades, and his powers was really cool. And I'm just like, oh yeah, he can do a lot of cool shit. And then there's other people that's kind of like him too. This like long lost race. I thought the setup and the power system and the world building was really good. But then they ruined the story when they forced the female romance character into the main character's life. I mean, they completely ruined the story for me because she was so forced into the story to be his love interest to the point where it was jarring. It was so jarring. It was like he told her, like, listen, I'm not good for you. We can't be, like, he met this chick like a day ago. And then the next morning, I'm talking about, I met her for the first time. Like, didn't sleep with her, met her for the first time. And then the very next day, he's telling her, yo, I'm bad news. I got shit going on. You don't want to follow me. Like, yo, just leave me alone. Like, literally, like, leave me alone. Get away from me. And she's like, no, I'm following you, and I'm going where you want me. I'm going with you, whether you like it or not. And I'm just like, wait, what? He just told you to leave him alone. And you just like, I'm going. And then he's like, listen, I got people coming after me. You know, I'm in dangerous activity. Like, you need to go. You need to leave me alone. And she's like, no, I'm staying. I'm being with you. And I'm like, bitch, you don't even know this guy. And he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just take you with me. And then next thing you know, oh, I'm attracted. And he's like, yeah, you're hot, so I'm attracted too. And they sleep together, and the next day he's in love, and he's trying to do everything he can to protect her. I'm just like, no, just no. And then I was reading some reviews, like some of the other books, because there's a lot of books in this series, right? There's like there's 6 books in this series. So I was reading reviews about the future books, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I want to still read it. Maybe it gets better. And then I'm reading some reviews, and they're just like, oh, she's a damsel in distress. She want to use her feminism, but she's independent. But then again, she doesn't have the power to back anything up. And she's forcing herself to be into dangerous situations, and she's not listening to him when he's telling her to, you know, to not get involved with stuff because she ain't got no fucking power, so she can't protect herself. And I'm just like, nope, I'm done. Not even about to read anymore. I read the first book, and I started reading some of the second book, and I didn't even finish. I was just like, no, I'm done. So that was the Arise series that I started. So that's another story that I kind of started and then dropped. Another story that I started and then I kind of dropped after a while is It's called System Universe series by Sunrise CV. Not sure y'all heard of that, but the System Universe. I started listening to that, and basically, another lit RPG type of story. Um, yeah, so another lit RPG type of story, and the main character is overpowered, and he's basically just kind of just doing charity, right? Just helping people out because he's so strong. People he think are good, killing people he think are bad. I was kind of interested in the story. It was kind of cool at first, but then the main character, it just wasn't enough struggle. He was just kind of just ending everything super easily. Like it was just not. It was not that interesting. It was a little bit interesting to seeing kind of like how he was gonna help other people power up because he was so strong. So like the people who were like less fortunate or whatever, he helped them power up, get them like a higher rank class or a more rare class and stuff like that. And that was kind of interesting, but it was just not enough struggle. And then he started getting like just power ups from the gods and shit out of nowhere, and I'm just like, none of this shit is earned. And so I read books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I stopped and I didn't read 6 and 7. So that's how that happened. But let me see. What did you say? Let me see, Lebo. Forget everything in the Shadow Slave as soon as possible. Wait, forget everything. Get into Shadow Slave. Okay, Shadow Slave. Listen, Lebo, leave the name of the series in the comment section after this video is over, and then I'll remember to check it out once I read it in the comments. Because that was another thing I said in the beginning, was that I was gonna get any sort of recommendation from some other people who might have some series for me to get into that I haven't read. So just leave the name of the series in the comments, and I'll be sure to check it out in future videos. I'll probably just look at it or whatever. Like I said, I've read a lot of stuff. So anyway, so that's kind of what the System Universe series was, and so I stopped reading that because it just got old. It just got old. It was just, he was getting power ups, and I'm just like, no, these power ups are not it. He Who Fights with Monsters. I read all of it. I read books, and that's also about narrated by Heath Miller, right? I've read book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I didn't read book 12, but I was following the Patreon for a while, so I'm pretty sure I read book 12. I believe the last part of He Who Fights with Monsters, the last part I was on, was when he was traveling back to Earth again. He was going to fix the bridge, and he brought all of his friends and stuff with him to go back to Earth a second time. And then there was this love interest with the one chick who was like the prince of like the Wind Kingdom or some shit like that. So I read all that. I was enjoying that series for a long while, and then it was kind of like once I stopped reading it, I just never was interested in picking it back up. I might pick it back up in the future at some point, but it's not really a priority for me. But I liked it. I really did. I really liked the series and everything. The pronoun stuff was annoying to me, because I'm just like if you motherfuckers are guys, like, this is just my personal opinion, right? If you motherfuckers are guys and you can like switch genders, and once you get to like what they say, once you get to like S class or S rank, whatever the hell it's called, and you can start like switching genders and shit, and you can be male and then female, and then some of the guys, like I think Death can appear as a man and Death can appear as a woman, and kind of you kind of switch it up or whatever. Like, that's like the only time where I'm just like, okay, you're a guy, like, okay, you're a man one time and then you're a female the other time, and your gender, whatever the fuck you feel like it, basically, right? Then it's just like, I'm like, cool. Like, just, okay, you show up as a man, I'm gonna call you a man. You show up as a woman, I'm gonna call you a woman, and just keep it simple. But then he was getting like chastised and lectured on, like, but it's not really a man, and they're not really women, and the Phoenix, whatever the fuck, the Phoenix Authority, whatever, she's not really a she. And I'm just like, if she shows up as a fucking woman, like, call her a she. And if she shows up as a man, call him a he. And, like, just keep it fucking simple. Like, it ain't gotta be so goddamn complicated. Why is he being lectured about pronouns? Like, they're fucking guys. They can do whatever they want. It was stupid. It was stupid. But other than that, though, and then you got some simp characters that was in there. But other than that, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. So there's that. I'm trying to think of some other stories. Okay, here's another series that I started reading. Tell me if you heard about this one. It's called The Divine Apostasy. I think that's how you say that. Apostasy series by AFK, and it's narrated by Travis Bolcher. So this is another series that I started, and I actually I bought the books and everything. So I read the first book, Shade's First Rule. I read the second book, The Second Betrayal. I read this is another lit RPG series, right? I read the third book, Uru's Third Temple, something like that, or Uru's Third Temple. And then this series got like 11 books, right? I started the fourth book, and then I dropped it after that. I dropped it after the fourth book, and I remember why. What book? I'm talking about The Divine Apostasy series by AFK, and it's narrated by Travis Bolcher. It's like Shade's First Rule, and then they got like The Second Betrayal, The Third Temple, The Fourth Secret, The Fifth Vault, The Sixth Rune, The Seventh Step, The Eighth Harmony, The Ninth Harbinger, The 10th Muse, The 11th Crusade. Like, they got all the numbers and shit, right? So that's another series that I started, and I remember why I dropped that series. So basically, my problem with this series was the main character. First off, the main character is 16 years old, and I've gotten to the point where I do not like young main characters in stories because they're just too dumb. Maybe when I was 16 and when I was like, 17, 18, it was, I didn't have as much life experience, so, it was a little bit more relatable, right? Because you're ignorant, you don't really know shit. But these 16-year-old kids in these stories, they're just too immature, and I can't dig it. I can't dig it at all. Like, I mean, this motherfucker falls in love so quick, and I'm just like, okay, like, she's nice to you and don't treat you like an asshole, and not mean to you, and you just love her. And I'm just like, I mean, I get it, young love, but like, bruh, you got all these responsibilities, and I don't know. But anyway, so the reason why I ended up dropping the series was this. The story just seemed like, it seemed like the main character, what the hell, let me see if I can get this main character's name really quick. Hold on. Ruin. And that's an ugly, terrible name, by the way. Ruin. His name is literally Ruin. Like, he's gonna ruin the series, ruin the story. Ruin with Ruwen. So anyway, Ruin, the main character, he's like this special character in the story because out of all the chakras that you can open up, right? And the chakras are like, I'm just trying to remember this. The chakras are like your potential and power. And most people can only open like 2 chakras. The gods, like literally the gods in the story, can only open like 4 to 5 chakras. This motherfucker can open 12 chakras, all other chakras. So he's got the potential to be, I'm talking about above the gods that are above the gods that are above those gods. Like, he got the potential to be the most powerful god of all the gods of all time of godly worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got this unlimited potential. Why does he have this unlimited potential? We don't know. He's just special. He can unlock all the chakras. Once you unlock the 4th chakra, you get to like God level. If you get to like 7 and 8 chakras, you're like supreme God level. Anything above that has never happened in the history of the universe. And so this motherfucker can get to 20. So anyway, so my problem with the story was that his path in the story and the decisions that he made, it all seemed like it was forced. It all seemed like he was following this plan because the God that he worships had this like divine plan for him, and then he ended up like the God that he worshipped had this divine plan for him, and he would talk to this God in like dreams and shit. And he's just following this guy's plan. God wants him to do this, and so he does that. God wants him to do that, and so he does this. And God wants him to do this. He's got this challenge. He's got it. It's like he doesn't have any sort of independence. He doesn't think for himself. It's like, and then okay, let me stay on point. He doesn't think for himself, and he's just following just this God's plan. And I'm like, when are you going to make your own decisions and start doing what you think is best? Start following, your own plan based off of your own life. I mean, this motherfucker's 16, right? So he don't really have a whole lot of life experience. And so I'm just like, when are you going to start following your own plan? And he just never does. He's just following his God's plan. And it just seemed like the story was just so predictable. He's just following the path that the author wants him to take. And I'm just like, I need a character who's going to make their own decisions and not just do what they want him to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a big problem. And then another problem that was really big for me was that once people find out that like he's the chosen one or he's got all this potential, they don't even know he has all this potential, but like once their God, because they all got different gods, once their God, oh, and by the way, in this story, you die and then your God can bring you back to life. Like, you don't actually die for real. If you die within your God's territory, then you will be revived in your God's territory. But if you die outside of your God's territory, then you die and you're gone forever. That's how it works. And so you don't really have a whole lot of risk involved, because if you just die, you just come back. Like, literally, you just come back. You wake up in the tub, naked, and you're just like, I'm back, after you just died. But then again, the risk is like, well, if you go outside your guy's territory, which he's got to go outside his guy's territory quite a bit, then if you die outside your guy's territory, then you're gone for good, because you're not in that guy's territory. So that was a part of it too. But anyway, another big part I had a problem with the series was once he is like determined to be the leader or to be like the most powerful and have all this potential, motherfuckers just follow him and do what he says no matter what. Like, it's just, he doesn't have any of the experience and any of the like just life experience for people to be like, oh, I'm going to follow you and I'm going to listen to what you say. I'm just like, this is a 16-year-old kid who barely knows shit, and you're just going to follow him, and nobody challenges him, his opinions, what his decisions. Everybody's just like, oh, you want us to do this? Oh yeah, we're going to just do that. I'm like, this motherfucker has been in this world for like 6 months, and you're just doing everything he says. Nobody's challenging him. Nobody's like even his parents are gone. And yeah, there's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's so fucking predictable. It's not that big of a spoiler. But his parents are gone, and then he finds his parents again. His parents come back into his life. And then I'm be like, okay, his parents go back to his life, so now he can rely on his parents and get some guidance and some wisdom. Nope. His parents were like 40 years old. This motherfucker's 16. His parents just like, what do you want us to do, son? You want us to go here? Yeah, we'll go there. You want us to go over here and do this? Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm like, where's the parenting? Where's the guidance? Why are you just doing what your kid tells you to do? I'm just like, bro, what is this? So yeah, I was done. After that, I was done. But before I go to another series, let me see what you're saying. Do I still read the beginning at the end? No. I have not caught up to the beginning at the end. I'll say it again. I have not caught up to T-Bait. The last video I made on T-Bait was the last chapter that I read, which was chapter 486. So 486 was the last chapter I read. That was the last chapter I did the video on. I'm not caught up. I have no idea what happens. I do plan on reading more other chapters at some point. You know, I'm not sure exactly when, but I am going to start reading more chapters. But in the meantime, probably when I'm not going to be reading those chapters, like I said, I want to do like a mini review of some of the stuff that I've already been reading. So that is the answer to that. So Lebo, what are you saying? Ever since T-Bait has such a trash ending, I'm currently reading Shadow Slave by Guilty 3. Let me look up Shadow Slave. Let me see if it's on Audible really quick. Let me actually look it up for you really quick. So you said that T-Bait had a trash ending. That is so sad. Like, that is so fucking sad. Because, you know, I already like T-Bait was great. T-Bait was great. I really loved the story up until Cecilia got involved. Once Cecilia got involved and Nico, I remember some of these names. Once Cecilia got involved with Nico, I'm just like, bruh, these characters are trash. These characters are ass. And I'm just like, and then once Cecilia goes back to her world, I'm just like, after all the shit she done, she gets this happy ending. They get to go trash, bro. I was so mad. I was so mad after that shit. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna just take it as, you know, a story ain't gonna be perfect, right? Story ain't gonna be perfect. There's gonna be things you dislike. There's gonna be things you like. It is what it is. But the main characters that you like, right? The main plot that's going on, we can still vibe with that. We can still be happy about that. But if a story has a bad ending, it really ruins the entire series. It's like, I mean, a perfect example would be Game of Thrones. Like, we all know that wasn't the ending that the actual author of the story wanted to end. His ass was just sitting on his ass, not making any more chapters, not making any more books. And so the writers, they're just like, well, we're going to have to write an ending to the story because the fucking author won't fucking pick up his pen and start writing. So they make their own ending and the shit's trash. And it's not fulfilling. And you're just like, what the fuck is this? And it just kind of ruins the whole series. So where you're just like, I don't even want to finish the shit. I'd rather just stop at, you know, season 4 or season 5 or whatever and not even finish it. So if a story has a terrible ending, it really ruins everything. It really does. And it's so crazy. Like, you can have a story be so good to where you're like, oh, yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. This is a phenomenal series, phenomenal story. And if the ending is trash, that shit goes down to like a 5. I swear, like, it goes to like a 5 because the way I rate some of these stories, I like to do, you know, 1 out of 10. So like T-Bait for me has always been in that like 9 range. T-Bait has always been in that 9 range. Same thing with Primal Hunter. Primal Hunter has been in that like 8.9, 9 sort of range for me. And then the First to Fire, or not the First to Fire, Defiance of the Fall has been at like 8.8, 8.9, you know, to like 9 type of range. Like, I don't know, these stories, you really need to like binge read it, because when you reading this chapter by chapter, it's not really as fulfilling. But yeah. So if T-Bay has a terrible ending, the same way that Cecilia had a terrible ending, that story can easily for me go from a 9 to like a 6. And I like, oh yeah, this book great, ending trash. Overall, we're going to like a 6 or a 6.5, even though it was at a 9. But the ending just make it so bad to where you're at like a 6 or a 6.5. So yeah, you really need to perfect your ending. Like your ending has to be good. Like you cannot, as a writer, because I thought too, like, oh maybe I can start writing some stories, man. Some of these fucking writers are, man, the amount of time and effort they put into like sculpting like the world and the story and everything, like it's a lot. Like Brandon Sanderson, like that motherfucker, like what he does, I don't know how he can make all these stories and have them be so like fleshed out and just have their own systems, and he just come up with all these creative ass power systems and shit. Like it's crazy. But you have to have a good ending. You have to have a good main character, and you have to have a good ending. Those are like the main two things. You have to have a good main character, and you have to have a good ending. You can have some shit side characters, or you can have a fucking a bad main character but some great side characters. It's still not gonna make the story great because the main character is gonna be the one that's gonna get most of the screen time. So like for example, like Naruto. Like Naruto was a story that I always watched when I was a kid. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I was watching that shit on Toonami, and I was watching that shit on fucking Kids XD or Disney XD. It was on Disney XD when they had Naruto Shippuden on there, and I was always watching Naruto. And it wasn't until later in my life when I got older and more experienced, I'm just like, Naruto's a pretty trash ass character. And I'm like, Itachi is an amazing character. I'm like, oh yeah, Itachi, man, he sacrificed so much, and he loved his brother and shit. I'm just like, oh damn, this is the greatest shit ever. But then I'm just like, but he's rarely on the screen. And so, but we get Naruto, and oh my god, I love you, Sakura. And then Sakura treating Naruto like shit, and then she's obsessed with Sasuke, and Sasuke don't want that shit to do with her. I'm just like, these characters are trash, Then you got Rock Lee, he put in all the effort, and I'm just like, you gotta have a good main character. That's all I'm trying to say. Gotta have a good main character. Anyway, let me. I be getting on these tangents. I swear, like, forgive me for these tangents. I be getting on these tangents, and it's just be. Oh man, I gotta go back to. Okay, let's see. So yeah, Shadow. Oh yeah, I was gonna look up Shadow Slave. I completely forgot. So Shadow Slave by Guilty Theory. Let me look it up. Really quick. Let me see if it's on Audible. Okay, I found it. I think I found it. Is this right? Wait, what in the hell is this? Okay, tell me if this is right. Is it Shadow Slave by Pocket FM Official? Is that right, Lebo? By Pocket FM Official. They got episodes. It looks like it's a bunch of episodes. It's not a series. It's a bunch of episodes. I'm so confused. Episode 1, they got all the way into episode 50. So episode 1 is like The Nightmare Begins. Let me see. Let me just play this really quick.
Pocket FM presents Shadow Slave. Sonny, a frail-looking young man with pale skin and dark circles under his eyes, sat on a rusty bench across from the police station. He cradled a cup of coffee in his hands. Not the cheap synthetic type that slim reds like him usually had access to, but the real deal. It was a cup of plant-based coffee, usually available only to higher-ranked citizens, and it had cost most...
Is this right? Is this the story you're talking about, bro? Like, is this it? Because this is what I see. Shadow Slave, and it's like 50 episodes. The Nightmare Begins. Tell me if I'm right. So anyway, don't read Shadow Slave. All right, the character is not progressive and doesn't develop and is a simp for the main female lead. Oh God, listen, and this is another thing that's really cool too, is when you guys can listen to me. If you actually really do listen to what I'm be saying, then you kind of can get a good feeling for like what I would like and what I don't like, right? So if you a simp, it's a no. It's a no for me. You know, ever since I've understood kind of like how the world works and, you know, female nature and, you know, all the simpy shit and just the pedestalization of women and all that other stuff, like it is so repulsive to see a man simp for a chick. It's just it's the most disgusting shit. Like, I'll give you an example. My girlfriend, she likes to watch, okay, she likes to watch 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if y'all heard of this shit, but it's 90 Day Fiance. And in 90 Day Fiance, these men simp so hard for these average basic ass chicks. I'm talking about she charges you every time you try to talk to her on the phone. You literally gotta pay to talk to this chick, and you are paying to talk to this chick. Like, I'm flying out to where you live so we can hang out. She tells you not to come, avoids you and don't talk to you and ghost you for months, and you still fly out there and ask, where you at? I thought we was gonna meet up. I'm just like, what? What? Oh God. So yeah, she did introduce me to some of the most simpy ass dudes you could ever meet in your entire life, and it's repulsive. It's repulsive. But hey, maybe Shadow Slave is actually pretty solid. But I mean, if you're telling me that he's simping for the main character, that's already going to be a big ass no for me, because like, and here's the thing, I like when men and women get together and they help each other, you know, because men and women are meant to complement each other. So I like it when they can, like, you know, the women can still be feminine, or be not just feminine, but be supportive and be beneficial to the guy, right? And the guy is the leader and the woman helps. And even in a fantasy story, she's not a fucking damsel in distress, and, you know, she don't need all this validation and attention and shit like that to feel, you know, good within herself and things like that. She's beneficial to the character, where she provides something that helps the character out, whether it be fucking potions or whether it be, you know, strategy or something, right? And then for him not to value her over everything else that's been built in the story, where, oh, she gives her opinion about something, oh, we gotta go with that, we gotta go and do that. Like, wait, you got other people who are more experienced. No, I'm doing what she tells me to do, because happy wife, happy life. That's just gonna be an immediate turn off for me. So, but let me know if that's actually the right story, and if the main character is simping, then I'm already quitting. So that's how it is. If the main character's simping, I'm quitting. That's what's happening. So he says he's a simp for the main character. I think Arthur, when he comes back to the captain, blah blah. I don't know if you're talking about spoilers, so I'm gonna kind of go past that. Shadow Slave can be found on YouTube, not on Audible. I found it on Audible. Don't read Shadow Slave. Characters don't develop past a certain point. The main character is bad. All right, I got you. Yes, that is it. Yes. Okay, so that is it. That is it. So I found it on Audible then. I found it on Audible. I think I'm a little bit behind for the comments. But yeah, I found it on Audible. And so I have no idea what the story's even about. I just looked it up and I'm just like, okay, so this is it.
Savings. But today, Sonny decided to pamper himself.
Who is
His life
the
wasn't
narrator?
Enjoying the warmth of a luxurious drink, he raised the cup and savored the aroma. Then, tentatively, he took a small sip and immediately grimaced.
Yeah, I don't know who the narrator is. They don't even have the narrator's name on here. But okay, not true. He's not a sip. They are bound by Weaver's Fate. Okay, Lebo, Weaver's Fate. If you're going to read Shadow Slave, don't read past the first arc. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'll give it a shot. And I'll tell you what I think about it. I might be able to give it a shot tomorrow because I'm going to be shut down for the day. And then tomorrow I'm going to California, by the way. So I'm traveling right now I'm in Missouri. Yeah, right now I'm in Missouri. I got to go all the way down to California. So I got like an 1,800 mile drive out to Cali, bro. Going to the progressive state of the world. But anyways, I'm just kind of joking around. But let me start this truck. Okay, I'm back. I'm not going. I started up my truck, and so when I started up my truck, it turned all the power off, and so I should have known that was going to happen. But I'm back though. I'm back. So what I was going to say was I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot tomorrow, and I'll kind of see what happens. I'll see what happens. See what I think about it. I don't really have anything that I'm actively. I just finished Dungeon Crawler Carl book 5, so I was going to go to book 6, but I haven't done that yet. So I'll try this story out and see how it is. I mean, I got a list of. I'm actually telling you what I actually plan on reading fairly soon, and I'm excited about it, but I haven't started it yet because I kind of want to read this and like either do like a read along type of thing, or